Hey, what's up, everybody? Clayton here with Go Analytics, and today I want to show you how to create a custom legend for your shape maps in Power BI. So something like this here, where you can see the colors diverging and be able to identify what those values are. So let's get started. Hey, welcome to our YouTube channel. If you're finding us for the first time, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications to stay up to date on all of our data visualization videos. All right, so today's video comes from a request from Aldo. Thanks, Aldo, for that request. So Aldo watched our video where we showed you how to create a world shape map, and he noticed that there was a legend there that is a little bit different than what you can expect in Power BI. So Aldo had a question, how do you do that? Well, that is a custom, you got to trick the system a little bit with Power BI sometimes to get things to display exactly how you need it to display. So I'm going to walk you through how to do it right now. So let's head on over to my laptop and I'll show you how to do that. All right, so here we are in Power BI desktop, and this is what we're trying to accomplish here. A legend that shows varying colors from the lowest of our population to the highest of our population and corresponding that to our map. So let's get started. There is a little bit of tricking the system that we need to do here, but it's nothing too crazy. So the first thing we need to do is to come up with our buckets. So as you can see here, when I hover over this, and if I click into it, this is actually just a table visual. As you can see, that's the one that's highlighted over here. So we've got our table visual with two fields in it. Our first field here, when I hover over it, is our population bins. So we have to create those bins before we can do this. And our second is our population. So the thing that we want to measure and how that's going to translate into our map here. So first thing we need to do is to come up with our population bins. So we need to determine how many bins we want, or we can let the system determine it for ourselves. Okay, so what I would do is go over to our population column. Right here is our population 2025, and let me expand this a little bit. And if I hover over this column, you'll notice that I have this ellipsis that I can click into to create a new group. So we can click here in new group. And here is where we need to set this up. So I've already done this in our case here, but you would first give it a name for your bin. So we can name this our population 2025 bins 2. The field is pre-populated for us here. So it's our population 2025 column. And in group type, this is where we can determine whether we want to bin it or we want to create a list. In our case here, we want to actually use a bin. And our setting here for bin type, we can choose by size of bin or number of bins. So choosing the size allows the system to determine how many bins are going to fit into it based on the size of our, or based on the range of our population here from the smallest to the largest. But if there's a particular number of bins that you want to create, you could change that up and say how many bins you want to create. So I'm going to leave it in terms of size of bins. And as you can see here, it calculated our minimum population and our maximum population. And as you can see here, it tells us a little bit of information now for the bin size. So it's saying here that the binning splits numeric or daytime data into equally sized groups, and it asks us to enter the bin size. So by default, it will give us a bin size that it thinks is appropriate, or we could tell it how dispersed we want our data to be. So we can, if you know, if since I'm talking about world population here by countries, if I put something ridiculous like bin size of 10, then we're going to end up with a lot of bins, right? Whereas if we put in a bin size of a billion, then we'll get smaller bin sizes. So we need to think about that when we set up our bin sizes. And we can set it to our default. So if we ever change this, so if I change this to 50, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that's not a good one, I can always reset it to the default, which is what Power BI does in the back end. So once we click OK, we will have created our new bin. So as you can see here, now we have our population 2025 bins 2. And then so all we need to do then is to create our table. So without selecting anything on this page, I'm going to choose our table visual here. So bring it over here. And now we just have to bring in those bins. So I'm going to bring in our population 2025 bins 2. And as you can see here, it created 6 bins for us. So if we're okay with having 6 bins for our legend here, then we can be fine with that. Otherwise, we can always edit those settings by going back to our bins 2 here, hovering over the ellipsis and clicking on edit groups. So now it allows us to edit this. So if I change this number to say 50, and this is going to be crazy, but let's just take a look at what that does. So when I click OK, now as you can see, yeah, I created a whole lot of bins in our data here. So I'm going to go back to our default. I think 6 is a good number here for our bins. So I'm going to reset this to default and accept that. All right, so the next column that we need to add in here is our population. So as you can see, I already have a measure here for our population. So I'm just going to bring that into this table. And as you can see, it now tells us the population across each of our bins. So the next thing we need to do is just do a little bit of tricking here with the system so that we can get it into a nice narrow column like this one here. So I'm going to rename both of our columns here something as small as possible. So in this case, I'm going to rename our bins here just a period, and our population, we're going to do a double period. And now we have that there. And what we'll do now is to add a little bit of formatting to this. So we're going to format each of these columns here, and we'll format the table. So we can go over to our format your visual here. From style presets, instead of this default, I'm going to choose none. So I don't want any formatting to this. And now I'm going to add a couple of cell elements here. But first of all, let's just remove our total. We don't really want to include that. So I'm going to remove that. And from our cell elements here, let's add to our population here, which is in our case is this 2 periods here. We want to add conditional formatting to the background and to the font color. So let's start with the background here. So I click on that and click on the FX button to change whatever I need to change here. So one of the things I'm going to do is to add a middle color. So I'm going to use our colors here. I'm going to use a light blue, a medium blue, and a dark blue. And then I'll click OK. So now we have that going there, and we'll do the same thing for the font. So we'll turn this on and click on the FX button to change those settings. So again, I'm going to use the exact same colors that I used before on this cell, but now I'm using it on our font. right, so now there we have it. We have our column being formatted here. And now we just need to resize this and reorder it. So I want to order it by our population. So we can choose here our sort by and sort it in an ascending. So in an ascending order. So now we have our darkest at the bottom and our lightest at the top for our population. And now all we need to do is change the font color on our headers and on our bins because we don't want our bins showing up. So we'll go over to our specific column here. And for our period, which we know here that this is our bins, and let's apply this to the header as well. And we'll change the text color to white. So now we've made that disappear over there. And the last thing we need to do is go to our column headers and change those to white as well so that we get rid of those column headers. And we just need to get rid of the lines now. So that's the last thing for us to do. So we go to grid here and turn off our horizontal grids. And I also want to get rid of this line at the top. So I can go over to the border here and select top and remove it. So by selecting it and deselecting it, I essentially got rid of that. And so the last thing we need to do is just to resize our columns. So if I shift this over here now, you'll notice that I can now have that legend type of setting. So, and the last thing I'll do here is just remove our background on it. So I'll have it a transparent, and I'll likely just remove our header icons. And if tooltip was on, I would probably remove that as well, so that it's more of a less of an interactive thing and more of an informational on our chart here. So I can just place it wherever I need it, and that's it. That's all we have to do to create this custom type of legend in our map here. So that's it. That's how you can create a custom legend for your maps in Power BI. It's quite powerful, and you can see how you can get really creative with this. So a little bit of trickery to get Power BI to do what you want it to do, but it's doable for sure. And as you saw, not too much work either. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you keep working on your Power BI prowess. And if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for all of our future videos. And we'll see you in the next video.